So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the award-winning, congratulations, people.
Yes, indeed. Award
Questlove Supreme.
We got hardware.
Yes, we did the damn thing. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen?
We got to tell them, what award did we win?
The award is iHeart Music Podcast of the Year. Shout out to Nori. You're great, but not as great as us.
Ooh,
shots fired. All right.
Shots fired. We're going to have the first... No, this ain't hardly the first beef between podcasts.
No, that's all love.
That's all love.
No, it's love. Love to everybody in the category. It's all love. I will say that, it goes without saying that our guest today is an absolute legend. With a Grammy to boot, multiple gold and platinum albums to his credit. He actually penned one of hip hop's first memoirs, the Ice Opinion. He penned classics like, 6 in the Morning, Colors, New Jack Hustler, OG Original Gangster. He's collaborated with everyone from Quincy Jones to Tupac to Cube to Kool Keith to Slayer. And, I will basically say that, our guest today is one of the first stars of our culture to really parlay and pivot from just hip hop to other venues of expression, be it film, television, his metal band Body Count, one of the first hip hop legends to be a dominant voice on social media. And he's using that same wisdom as that he kicks on Twitter to offer his daily game. Definitely worth a follow. I mean, you should be following him if you're not. But basically, what can I say? We have the legendary Ice-T on Questlove Supreme today.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That intro was crazy. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, come on, dog. You know you're legend.
He also doesn't age. He drank from the fountain of youth.
I was going to say.
Ice-T don't age.
I like to always preface it with living legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
very true.
A lot of times,
as you should.
A lot of times people don't get their flowers till it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still here. But it's funny, though, Quest, I'm working on a project that's a compilation of all my story rhymes. I like to tell stories. And the title of it is The Legend of Ice-T, Crime Stories.
Woo!
Because legend is part fiction. Legend is like a tale, So it was the night I was in the club and I got in a fight and I knocked the guy out, but the legend says I knocked 5 guys out. You see what I'm saying? So now you become legendary. You got to live up to some of these legends that aren't really the truth. But I kind of let people believe what they want to believe. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we call the record The Legend of Ice-T. But thank you very much.
I'm certain that this ain't the first time that you've heard, especially based on your name, that cats might call you the Iceberg Slim of hip hop. I'm sure a lot of that is also just due to the fact that not on a rhyme page, but I think on Power, I remember you closing side 2 with kind of a story tale. I think it's Soul on Ice, the closing song on Power, of which back then I was wondering like if that was going to be your, not that I was seeing a pivot back in 1987 or 88. Like, did you ever have any goals or aspirations to actually start writing fictional books on that level?
No. The true story is I'm named after Iceberg Slim, and I named myself after Iceberg Slim. When I was in high school, I went to Crenshaw, so you had the gangbangers, and then you had the players. The players were the cats that wore tailor-mades, and they would always shooting dice. And I ended up migrating from the gangsters to them, and that's when you see me, and I had the perm and the fila and all that. But these cats would hang out and they would carry around Iceberg Slim books and Donald Goin books. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know what that was. So I started reading Iceberg Slim and I was fascinated with it. So I was in 11th grade, I was able to quote Iceberg Slim to the girls. And they thought I was the flyest shit in the world. because I'm quoting a 40-year-old pimp to him. I mean, I could quote. You want to hear some Iceberg Slim? You want to hear
Yes,
me quote
yes,
some
indeed.
Yes,
Hit me.
absolutely.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I need a three-way winch that'll play Jasper and Extension, take him around the horn. No Gene or John, this hoe couldn't con, cause that trick was never born. She'll be a good shot broad and an ace at fraud, and drag she'll play like a vet. She'll stuff like an ace, never lose a case, and leave many a mark in debt. She'll be rated the best in the East and the West when a boosting hands goes down. She'll steal knots out of knees and Fido's fleas. This bitch will steal out many a town. Now I heard hoes cry about the wind being high and the law being on their tail, about snow and sleet being asshole deep and the tricks can go to hell. And some greasy spoon or juke saloon, you'll find them killing their time, crying hard luck tears and sucking up beers, and the pimps ain't getting a dime, turning $50 tricks just to get a fix, cause their pussy is doing the pimping. That is ruining the name of one hell of a game, cause they pimps is doing the simping.
Ice-T on the next Questlove Supreme, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Good night.
Quest, I'm saying that at the 11th grade to girls, and I'm not telling them it's Iceberg Slim. They like, who is this fly ass?
And you don't even know what the fuck you're saying. Half of it.
This sounds fly, right?
Yeah.
All it counts.
Next thing you said is, how can I be down with this fly ass motherfucker? So Iceberg, Ice-T is short for Iceberg T. Quest, you're right. And my boys call me Berg. My boys call me Berg. So now the song you heard was my homage to Hustlers Convention. Remember that album they had out called Lightning Rod and
Lightning Rod, yeah.
Yeah, so I was in that vein, but really, honestly, truthfully, Quest, all my music is Iceberg Slim. Like my music is more like literature than rap. It was not meant to dance to. It's like, straight up nigga, or some of y'all niggas is bitches too, or I'm your pusher, high rollers. It's definitions of certain things. So that was my way of writing books, was writing music. And I honestly use music that you couldn't dance to intentionally, so that you'd have to
listen.
I see.
So you're right on point.
For a lot of our listeners that don't know of your history, I mean, maybe it was 10 or 15 years ago that I was shocked when I first found out that you were actually born in Jersey.
Yes.
Where in Jersey did you live?
I was born in Newark, New Jersey. I lost my mom when I was in the 3rd grade, and I moved to Summit, New Jersey, which is a predominantly white suburb. There was like one black street called William Street, where mostly all the black people live. And then I lost my father when I was in the 7th grade, and I was, shipped to Los Angeles to live with his sister. So even though I was from the East Coast, I hadn't really kicked up no dust. I was a kid, So by the time I actually got active, I was in LA by that point. But yeah, I'm from the East Coast, born out.
Just for perspective, I'm just curious, where your people's from? Like, where was your mama's people's from? Where was your daddy's people's from?
My mother was Creole from New Orleans. And she was so light-skinned back in the 50s, they said she could pass. You know that term?
Yes.
She could pass as white. And my father was Quest color, so they were considered an interracial marriage to a lot of people. So that's where I learned early about racism, that was not something to tolerate, how stupid it was. My mother was able to hear white people talk about black people in front of her because they thought, yeah. And one of my first moments in racism was I had a white kid that thought I was white and was talking about another black person in front of me. But yeah, and my father, I think he was from Virginia. So, that's why I'm a light-skinned brother with hazel eyes. And people know that the history of Creole is black and French.
How much of a, I guess, fish out of water situation was it for you in LA at the time? Like, how old are you when you're in LA?
How old are you in the 7th grade?
12. Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
12, 13.
I didn't like it first because, when you uproot a kid, he doesn't have any friends. So I got shit. When my father died, both of them died of natural causes, but my father passed away. I was in school and they shipped they took me home, and then that summer they just sent me to LA like for the summer. Then all my clothes came, and I was moved out there to live with his sister. I didn't like it because and that's how I'm living. I said I didn't like LA. I didn't have no friends to trust. And then got bused to a school, blacks and whites. I guess this shit was cool, But my it was weird, man, because my aunt didn't really want me. She had two kids that had already graduated out of high school, and they were ready to go on with their life. And in comes this kid now in the junior high, and it was rough on me. I left her house when I was 17 years old, and I've been on my own ever since. I have no living relatives, no sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins. Ice-T's been on his own ever since, Dolo.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Not even a mentor. Like, who was your first male in your life then in that way? After your dad?
Just friends, friends. I had one friend that I looked up to. He died early. And, nobody, that's how kids get involved in gangs. Gangs are like surrogate families, masculinity. Like, honestly, when I got around the gangs, I never was in a gang, but I was affiliated with the gangs. Because, see, you're not in a gang, you're from a gang, so you have to be in a neighborhood.
The neighborhood, yeah.
Is a gang. So if you're from the 60s, you're in the rolling 60s. You from the 80s, you're in the 8 trays in LA. So I was living in a nicer area in View Park. So when I went to Crenshaw, you had Harlem Crips, Hoover Crips, all kinds of Crip gangs. So I knew all the shot callers, but honestly, being around my homeboys, that was the first time I ever heard somebody tell me they loved me. Since my parents passed, we love. And the thing of it is the gangster love is different because they mean it. When they say, if something happens to you, cuz it's on, and they meant it, and they really, and it's kind of like what you wish your father was like I always say, if somebody shot me, my last words wouldn't be peace, it'd be get those motherfuckers, So it's that's embedded in me, but no, I don't have family, just friends. And I found out that having sometimes that type of family is better because you can choose it.
Is it hard? I mean, is it hard? I know oftentimes when people are thrusted into situations in which they lose, I had like 1 or 2 conversations with James Brown, and, his whole thing was like, my mom and my dad gave me away. And he said that made him, well, he was saying like basically that made him stubborn, but I think he was basically trying to tell me it was really hard for him to trust anybody. Because, like when your parents leave you, then either through death or through, circumstances, then, it's kind of hard to open your heart to like, okay, that's my friend and that's my friend over there. But were you social like that, or were you like a hermit in the beginning, or?
No, I kind of like became, I guess what you would say, violent. But it's not like I was beating on people, but I put on a violent persona. Because now here you go, you got a light-skinned kid in LA, surrounded with the gangs. I got hazel eyes. My fucking name is Tracy.
Ooh, okay? That's heavy.
I don't have any relatives, right? So you're going to be predator or prey. Fortunately, I'm 6 feet. I was always around 200 pounds. Even in high school, I was always healthy enough to fight. So I ended up putting on this energy that you guys know today as Ice-T. I'm as Ice-T, I'm a nice guy, but I think 50 Cent said it best. It ain't how my mama raised me, it's how the hood made me. So I just had to learn, like one of my buddies said, Ice is a nice dude. He just doesn't back up well. I don't back up well. So once you issue me like if you tell me da or else, I'm not backing up, because where am I going to back up to? Where can I go? You know what I'm saying? So I became, I had a lot of fades and a lot of fights, but I had nowhere to go. Quest, it was just, I had no options, but still don't.
because at one point you joined the army, or at one point, didn't you?
I joined the army. I joined the army because at 17 years old, I hadn't had a lot of sex. Like I wasn't getting no sex. 10th, 11th grade.
I don't believe it.
Nah, 10th. I didn't get sex till 12th grade.
The game wasn't right. It was the presentation was good, but you ain't had no game. Is that what it was?
Nah, the girls was dating 40-year-old niggas. Like I was. I'm in high school. I'm talking to girls all day, and then when they go out to see them at the end of the night, they getting picked up in low riders, niggas with kids, and you know the drill. So until I made it to senior, I had no leverage. I had nothing to offer them. I had enough to offer them to entertain them at school.
But not outside of school.
Not outside of school. Guys know this drill. You know the drill. The girl, the cheerleader flirt.
In high school, all the bad joints were dating way older dudes.
Because y'all was looking at the wrong girls. That's all.
Yo, in high school was like that. Like they wasn't looking at us.
Nah, so when I finally made it to senior, I had a girl in the 10th grade. I had a little leverage on her. But now I get out I left my aunt's house. I got $250 Social Security. I told her I'll bail. She said, you'll never make it. I took $100 and got an apartment. I had another $100 I spent on food. I had $50 that was free money, right? And I found an apartment, and the guy was like, you're too young. I said, well, I'm gonna have the check sent to you. You take my rent out, and then you give me the difference. So the landlord would give me $150 cash. That's how he knew he was going to get paid. And what happens, I got my girl pregnant. Now I got my own pad. When I'm in the 12th grade, you talking about popular shit. I was hill. And but I didn't know they could get pregnant that easy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't busted enough nuts to know the drill.
And there you have it.
That's our clip.
I'm old. I was graduating in 1976. It wasn't like condoms was around. You damn near needed to go to the pharmacy to get a condom. Like you had to get a prescription to get a condom back then, you know? Right. So I'm busting nuts, and she said she pops up pregnant, and being an orphan, I wanted the baby, right? Because I don't got nobody. And so I went in the military based on that. Like, I'm like, I got to get some responsibility.
Provide.
And I joined the Army. I did 4 years at 25th Infantry Division.
Mm. What was that like? Like that level of discipline, especially when, I would assume that if you're saying that you have to have this persona in LA where,
just back up off me. Just back up off me type shit, you know?
Okay.
You know
how that work? That don't work well in the Army.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. See, the only way being in the Army is kind of like joining a football team. If you don't want to be there, it ain't going to work. If you want to be there, it's going to work. You got to want to be there. You see what I'm saying? And so I made the decision to do it. So I was ready to go. Like if you see G.I. Jane, they're like, ring the bell, quit. The Army's like that. Like if you can't hang, go. But now you're a bunch of other alpha males, and you like, I ain't no punk. I'm a shut. It's a place for alpha males. That's what it really is. It's for motherfuckers that really want to get down. They want to go to war, like these motherfuckers. So they hunt cats like you. But now they take the street shit out of you. I remember the first time I went in the gas chamber. They put you in the gas chamber, and
say what?
Yeah.
Well, they put you in this thing called the gas chamber and let you.
You seen Private Benjamin, you know.
Yeah, they put gas in there to and they make you take your mask off so you can have. See, the trip with military is they want you to go through things so that when it happens, it's not the first time it happened. Right.
Fair.
So you're going to march 25 miles. So if you have to do it, I've done this before. So they tell you to take it off. So what I did is I squinted. And I just held my breath, and I was able to hold my breath a long time. And so when I came out, everybody was coughing and shit like that. And I was able to pull the mask off, and it didn't look like it fucked with me. And the drill sergeant's like, see, that's that same shit they throw at Morrow on the block. He's used to that shit off the block. So they were able, they would tease the street cats. Like, y'all motherfuckers know how to break an MC.
So you got respect off the jump. then in a way.
Say what?
You got respect off the jump.
Well, if you tough in there, they're gonna let you be tough. They're gonna let you. I remember I was one time I was there and I had a sergeant, a ranger. He was like, "Who thinks they can whoop my ass?" Right? And I hated this little motherfucker, and I knew I could knock him out. So I put my hand up, and this other brother named Govan and another white dude named McGarry stuck their hands up. And I thought we was gonna get the fight. And then he brought us up in front of the squad platoon and said, "Who think they could beat me and my three friends up? You guys are the squad leaders." So he wanted to see who thought they had heart. Yeah, and that was the biggest mistake in my life. Ever since then, I never wanted to be in charge of shit because I'm your guy to ride shotgun. I understand the position of shotgun is much better. Fuck being the boss. The boss, fuck that.
That's brave to say that shit because I ain't mad at you, but it's brave to say it.
What? That
you don't want to be the boss and you ain't mad at not being the boss. Like everybody, some people would feel like, well, what you mean, Ice-T? Like you and G, you should be the boss, the top of everything, producing, da-da-da-da. But I see what you're saying. And
those people have never been the boss. See, a lot of things you want because you have never gotten them. Once you get them, you go, got it. Pass.
I'm good on that.
Now, listen, if Quest is the boss and I'm his lieutenant, I might be more dangerous than him. You feel me? And I might have much more power. When you went to school, were you more afraid of the principal or the vice principal?
Right.
Oh, always the vice principal.
Vice principal.
Dr. Brown, she was crazy. I was terrified of Dr. Brown.
Even like Law and Order, like when I'm on Law and Order, I have a job. I show up, I do the job, I get paid, it's cool. When I'm on tour, I got to run all them niggas. I got all this shit I got to handle. I got budgets. Quest knows I'm on budgets and tour buses and all that stuff. I would much rather not do that and just go on tour and get the bag. I don't want to do it. So at some point you realize, but they say the head that wears the crown sleeps the heaviest. And it's not necessarily for everybody. I am the boss in certain aspects of my life. Let's put that like that.
Ponte learning that right now.
Guy behind the guy.
Yeah, listen, straight up.
By the way, great job on Friday night, Fonte.
When we did the Grammys, they made Quest the boss. How'd that feel?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
When I landed in New York, my tooth fell out and I went straight to surgery.
Amir!
That's the level of stress that I was under.
You got a stress tooth?
Amir!
Stress teeth, man.
Dog, for real. Like new teeth, for real. Like when I stress out, body parts just go awry. So
now let's since we're doing this now, Quest. Even though you got all the praise, was it worth?
Yeah, I was going to ask we haven't talked about this fully yet. We need to. Let's go.
I'm still trying to decide. If that was a victory or not. I'll say this much.
It was a victory for me. Thank you. I was so honored to
It was a victory seeing
and I thank you. No, for real. You like one of 5 acts that literally gave me 0 headaches, nothing. No. It's going to be worth it. I guess I can say that something even bigger is going to happen in August, and it's not just like a special one. Yes, we already said that something's going to happen, but something on top of that is happening. And now that that's been greenlit, I feel that it was way worth losing a tooth over and having to lay on an operating table for 2 hours.
Oh my God.
I mean, the cool thing about what you did, you pulled that shit together in like 2 weeks. That's the crazy part. Like,
can y'all tell us the story? Can you just tell us the story about how Ice-T became a part of the 50th anniversary of hip hop? Just tell us that part. Please tell us that part.
No, the thing was, and they kind of hit me in like after Thanksgiving, like, this is what we have planned. Are you interested? And I was like, all right, cool. And then I let like 3 weeks go by, Christmas or whatever. And I guess after Christmas, I hit them up like, okay, so what's the plan? And they were looking at me like, yeah, what's the plan? And I'm like, wait, I have to put this together? Like, I'm just thinking like, let me show up and drum and y'all tell me who I'm backing. And they were like, we were kind of hoping you put it together. So, I gave my wish list and then they looked at me back like, okay, do you know these people? And I was like, wait, I got to call them too. So
that's worse than Questlove Supreme. See, that ain't right. Go ahead.
No, I mean, so pretty like with the exception of maybe one of the acts that abandoned us. And Glorilla, maybe, yeah, like I pretty much just called everyone from my telephone.
So you call Ice-T.
Yeah, I pretty much I scrolled down my entire phone book, and I'll say that 95% of everyone that you saw was me hitting them up like, yo, you mind doing this? I mean, the only two people that couldn't do it was Cube, and Cube was shooting something, and Snoop was coaching. What's the all-star version of football? The Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Snoop was coaching one of the teams for the Pro Bowl. So
Ice-T was wasn't he? You were the lone like representation.
No, me and Too Short.
You were Too Short. Excuse me. So North and South.
Yeah, and
my thing was I decided it was wiser because people often ask like, why'd you ask Big Daddy Kane? Why'd you ask Karis One? The thing was, we thought it was, first of all, we only had 12 minutes, and 12 minutes goes by like that when it's this level of ensemble. So we just wanted one representative of each territory.
So wait, okay, so Amir, I see. You get the call. Amir calls. Tell us but please, what's on your mind? What happens? Why you say it?
I can't do it.
Why not? Why you can't do it?
Because I'm in Law and Order and they shoot Mondays. And Super Bowl and Grammys are always on Sundays, so I can never go. I got a call time sometimes, 7 a.m. on Monday. So he calls and I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's the Grammys. I didn't really know the magnitude of it, and then he said, Ice, you don't want to miss this. This is going to be legendary. This is going to be epic. And then in my brain, I thought about it and I said, am I going to be the guy that's sitting home watching this saying, I had a call to do that? And people like, you lying motherfucker. Ain't nobody called you, So, and then like I said, I knew he had Ice Cube on speed dial. I'm like, you know what? I'm not turning this down. This is the Grammys, and it's second to the Super Bowl as far as people seeing live performance. And I said, I called Law and Order, and I told them, and I said, I need to be off on Monday. They said, you got this whole week off because you're getting a star next week, and we have this episode is off for you. So it just was a natural. It was a natural. And then I got the track, and when I got there for rehearsal, that's when it dawned on me, because it's like you're seeing everybody. I'm seeing Method Man. I'm seeing all my friends. It was me and LL Cool J, who people haven't seen a picture of me and him ever.
I gotta admit, that was my one slight worry. I was like, wait a minute. Because the thing was, by the time I got to you, again, I went in alphabetical order.
Right.
And you're in the middle of the alphabet. Already, with at least the first 15 people I called, their first question was, who else going to be there? And the thing is like, and you're right. Like I wanted to undersell it. One, you can ask them. I'm pretty much very much known for, even my hyperbolic statements are over exaggerated. So I kind of wanted to downplay this a little bit, because I don't know, like I think for a lot of the younger generation, I'll call Tyler, the creator, up, and his first reaction is like, man, this sounds corny. You know what I mean? Like, so in my experience, and depending on what generation I'm talking to,
right,
I figure if I just undersell it, it'll be safe. And what's funny is, for the people that were just like, nah, I'm good. Like, that sounds whack. All of them, like, the next week were like, yo, man, I wish you would have told me the magnitude that this thing was going to be. And I was like, well, I don't know.
I said the Grammys, nigga.
Yeah, like how,
Right.
but I think just to some generational people, it's, you know, that's what, like, my whole thing is like, oh, that must be nice. Like, you could just shrug your shoulders like, Motown 25. I don't need that.
What you think of Ice? Wait, what you think of Ice?
What got me was the Gangsta Rappers, right? Because we don't get invited to shit, So when he said Scarface, when he said PE, when he said Wu-Tang Method, when he said Too Short, I was like, yo, I remember when Prodigy was alive. Prodigy's my favorite rapper from Mobb Deep. He's like, Ice, we don't do red carpets. They don't let us in. But see, you got to understand that people like myself, Snoop and Cube, we take pride in being outcasts. We take pride in not being allowed into their shit. I remember when Snoop was doing the Super Bowl, I'm like, they hate seeing you up there. He goes, Ice, I'm about to crip harder than they ever seen. He said, because don't you love it? The fact, so when you got the Outlaws in there and Quest had Too Short yelling, bitch, I'm like, yeah, and it was funny though, because at the sound check, I was just singing all the words with the shits and the fucks in it. So right before the show, I got a little text from whoever the P. It says, Ice, this is going to be live TV. Could you dial it back? I was like, okay. I was just testing the water. I didn't, but I
wanted y'all to curse.
Well, you know what? I figured it. You know what I said? I said, I'm not going to curse because they're going to bleep it and they're going to bleep it wrong. And it won't, it won't flow, So I just changed sucker for nigga, I just,
right.
Yeah. But I was so concerned during that show of the Cube. See, because it was a tape going.
Right.
Tape. Now, Scarface is rapping Mind Playing Tricks on Me. And then under this thing comes in, do, do, da, do, 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 da. If you missed your cue, it was going to be a rap because the track was going to keep going. You were going to be offbeat in front of millions of people. I was sweating. Like, this is not my show. I can in an IC concert, I could fuck up. I could be, whoa, bring that bracket. I could.
Right.
This is a fucking train that's going. And they put the things in my ear. And I never think, I don't think I've been that focused in a long time.
So I had to have a live slate just, because the thing was that the graphics that we were performing, like that had to be on automatic time. So initially I wasn't going to do live graphics. I was just going to do it like a normal thing. Like, okay, we're banned. We'll just, do it like normal. But they were like, no, you got to do it to a slate. So that way, when the lights and all that stuff change, it'll be automatically and whatnot. So
how did you know who was going to pull out at the last minute?
Yo. So
how did that work with the track?
The quickest. All right. So look, when our first guest pulled out, so when Bad Bunny was opening the show, we were on in 75 minutes. And what wound up happening was when I got word that one of our acts definitely had left the building and went back to his crib in Calabasas, then it took us 37 minutes. Because the thing is, the show's happening live.
Right.
So it's not like the light guy can look at me and say, okay, so what are we going to do? Like, he still has to do the show. So basically, we're using musical performances and commercials to go to 9 different people. You got to tell the person that's doing explosions, the person that's doing the lights, the person that's doing the choreography. You now got to explain to the 20 dancers who were there for that 138-second segment that we don't need your services anymore. So it took about 37 minutes for our first dropout to happen. Now, when the second dropout happened, it was 12 minutes left before showtime. And the second dropout was our top person, our headliner, who wanted more explosions, more dancers, more smoke, more like each request was like, it was almost like a, you know, it was like negotiating arms or whatever. Like, and when they left, I'll put it this way, at the 12-minute mark, when our headliner had totally dropped out, I thought it was a wrap. I thought, man, great. You always wanted to trend on Twitter, and now you destroyed hip hop, and
you broke it.
So I had no clue that Uzi Vert got my message to just bum rush the stage when he heard his song.
Uzi Vert to the rescue.
I literally didn't know.
Really?
Like, I sent a text, yo, you're gonna hear your instrumental, bum rush the stage when you hear that shit, and my phone went dead. So I thought, oh, he didn't get that message, so I'm fucked. And it wasn't until I got off stage, because even when all of y'all were on stage at the end, it took the Roots to explain to me in the dressing room that little Uzi Vert
came out.
I didn't know that until I was changing my clothes backstage. So
that's why. Okay.
That's why I can't take credit like, oh, it was a victory. Because even when off stage, I was like, I explained it this way. You remember how when Prince stormed off stage on Purple Rain because he thought nobody was feeling him?
Yeah.
Right. That was me. I was like, oh, man, I destroyed shit. Fuck. And everyone's like, well, what are you talking about? We're trending on Twitter right now.
Nah,
and I was
man.
like,
hey, look, it's even more important that you were able to pull it off with all that. That's like you had people booby trapping you, bailing out at the last minute of a live show, man. And
you know what I love though? I don't think anybody missed them.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
We did not.
It still came off.
It came off.
Yeah. And let me ask y'all this, because I talked to Jazzy Jeff after this, and he said, you know, it was a moment where we all knew that we were there, we've never been invited, and we won't be invited back.
Yeah,
But
there
we
won't
knew
be a
that-
51st.
Exactly. And he said, but we were there for hip hop. Like, did you feel that too, IC? Like, at some point, did you feel like it was something a greater?
I mean, I've been going to the Grammys. I won a Grammy for rap back in the day with Quincy Jones.
Back on the block.
Back on the block.
Me, Mel, Kumo D, and Kane, and we kind of felt Quincy snuck us in the back door of the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't give out a rap award, but it's really Quincy Jones. So we like, okay, I got it. I broke it in a video when I was on my Ice-T bullshit, and then I said I missed it, and I got another one to replace it. So I do have one, but in one of my videos, I'm like, fuck the Grammy.
Oh, they replaced them because they were telling me, nope.
Yeah,
My joint's crazy glued.
There's a charge. You can get one.
What?
Yeah, it costs money.
It's like a gold record. If they know that you got it, you can get it replaced.
Okay.
But I also went to China and got some made to give out. Like with Body Count 1, they only give out for the number of people in the group. But there's so many people involved. I got some replicas made to give to my boys and my crew. So I got that. Then a couple of years ago, I was nominated. Body Count. That was weird because they have another Grammy ceremony that comes on before the Grammy.
The pre, yeah.
So we performed in that. I got nominated for Black Hoodie, and we performed. And after that, they take us backstage, and they got the cameras on us. I'm like, we won this motherfucker. We won this motherfucker. We're standing there, and then they go, Mastodon, and they won. And the dude took the camera and wrapped that shit up and dipped and left us. and then when we got to our dressing room, it was locked. It was like they left us for dead. I was like, damn. So then the next year when we won for best metal performance, I was sitting right here because we did it over the internet. And so I probably will be the only person ever to get a rap and a metal Grammy
and be invited back.
That's what's up.
2 categories. But this is awards. I'm gonna explain to you awards. This is awards. Like, this is how motherfuckers are about awards. Fuck the award. Fuck the Grammy, man. Fuck, I'm nominated.
Right.
Oh, shit. That's how people are. I mean, I don't give a fuck about that bullshit. What? I'm not. Right. So that's how people are. Nobody really. But once you get nominated, you want to win that shit. You like, fuck this
every time.
Wait, we move so far in the future, but I never asked like your beginnings. How? Okay, so since you're in LA before the dawning of
Hip hop.
of what we know as hip hop. Like how did that culture reach you out there? Like what?
It reached me in the Army.
Oh,
because I'm in the Army and there's cats from
where
New
are you
York.
stationed?
I'm in Hawaii. I'm in 25th Infantry. So the cats in my unit were from New York and from all over Florida. You know, it's a mismatch of people from the United States.
Okay.
And I was hip to first generation hip hop, which is what I call unrecorded, like tape hip hop before they made records. So they're playing me all this, you know, the beatbox records and all that kind of stuff. And hip hop is intoxicating. You hear it, you're like, oh, that shit is dope. And, you know, I'm saying Iceberg Slim. I already think I know how to rhyme, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I never heard it done over beat, you know? And then they were trying to break dance and stuff. And I was just like, this shit is dope as hell. And then I saw the New York City Breakers on a show called That's Incredible. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, this is dope, you know? So by the time I came back to LA, LA had a techno sound. LA was Egyptian Lover in them, you know? And Uncle Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. Like I used to call it aerobic music.
Right.
You know? And that's what LA was banging off of. And I was just the first person out there to try to rap like New York rappers, like rapping over break beats. Evil E and Henji from New York City Spin Masters were my DJs. And we used to take records before they had instrumental records and actually catch the breaks. And I taught myself how to rap. I came home from the military with the intention to be a DJ because Uncle Jams and them were making a lot of money throwing parties for between, you know, 16, under 21, big. They do in the LA Sports Arena. The whole Uncle Jam's concept was they, in LA, well, anywhere, you can't get in a club till you're 21, but there's a whole gang of kids that want to go out, you know? So they started throwing parties and they basically created the first like raves. They were these long extended parties and they were able to do the LA Sports Arena multiple times with no acts. No acts. So you're talking about 5,000 kids dancing. And
the entire stadium?
On the floor of the stadium.
Okay, on the floor. Okay.
And I'll never forget when they had a drum machine and Egypt had a drum machine, an 808. And I'll never ever forget it, you know, because we hadn't seen drum machines. Right. And it was a moment where they put the drum machine on and they mixed it in and they go, Uncle Jam's Army is about to go live. And they played the drum machine and he would take the records and hold the records in the air. So you could see he wasn't playing any records and the crowd kept dancing. And it was a moment like, yo, this is live shit up here. You know what I'm saying? They were changing the beat. And I was the first one they would let rap. You know, they would let me rap in front of that crowd and stuff. And yeah, that was how I got to be on little flyers around LA. I would battle other up and coming rappers. And I ended up in this club called The Radio. It became the Radiotron when they decided to make the movie and they didn't want to pay the guys who started the club. So they just flipped the name and stole the name. But the real club was the Radio Club. And it was owned by a couple of guys that were like graffiti artists by way of New York, but they were Europeans. One was Russian. And they had Malcolm McLaren there. Mm-hmm. They had people, it was like trendy white kids. Adam Ant would be up in the motherfucker, and it was in MacArthur Park. And I actually put Madonna on stage in that club because I went there. They found out I had a record out. I went there. I became kind of like the stage manager. And if you wanted to rap, you had to rap to me downstairs. And then I go up and do the introduction. Okay, Questlove just got here. His helicopter just landed in the parking lot. You better be good, nigga. And then and here it goes, and pow, and you would just be on stage getting it on. So they bring this girl in. They go, her name's Madonna. And I took her downstairs, and she had this record called Physical Attraction. I'm like, I never heard of you, you know, but you got a record. And I let her perform. And she performed, and during the show, she was touching me, like used me as a prop, and I had a black girlfriend. Oh, that did not go well that night. He was hot.
And this before y'all were label mates?
Yes.
Okay.
When Madonna had just came out, she was with Jelly Bean Benitez back in the day.
Yes, sir.
And you know, so that's the history. So that's where, you know, the radio was where we were performing, and then the people came in, they saw the scene, they go, you'll be the rapper, you guys will be the dancers, and Glove was the DJ. You know the history of the Glove. Glove was carrying the equipment into the place. And the owner of the club's like, we need a DJ. And Glove's like, I could DJ. They go, you got a DJ name? He goes, nah. And the nigga had on gloves. He could be the Glove.
And y'all called him Glove.
And that was the Glove. And he was the house DJ at the radio. But when it came out on the movie, it became the Radiotron. But the real name of the club was the Radio.
All right. So can you talk about the Coldest Rap? One of our best episodes ever was with Jimmy Jam. And he explained how for the two people that have not heard the 6-hour Jimmy Jam episode, you know, Jam basically. Say it again.
The anthology.
Yes, the anthology of Jimmy Jam. You know, he explained that, you know, after they left Prince, that they were basically work for hired musicians. But I mean, at the time, it wasn't like you went and said, oh, let me get those two dudes from the time to do a track for me. You were just buying tracks from anyone, or?
Nah. Okay. So I used to get my hair done at this spot called Good Fred, right? This is when Ice had the perm. My shit was more wavy than the ships in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? I had to outmatch the girls. You know what I'm saying? That's what a player has to do. You got to look better than these chicks so they understand they got to get it together to get what you dig it. So I was getting my hair to get together, and I would say these rhymes, right? My walking around rhymes, like, you know, I'm the pimp, the player, the woman layer, the hoolie doula, the whole house ruler. I just pimp whores and slam Cadillac doors. So I'm saying this, and this guy named Willie Strong, who owned VIP Records, the very famous record store that Snoop is standing on in his first Snoop Dogg video. They came to me and they said, "You want to make a record?" And it was just like Run. You know, they threw me inside the Cadillac, and the chauffeur drove off, and he never came back. So it took me from the beauty parlor, the salon, to a studio. And they had this track with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They owned the track, and it was some chicks singing on it. And they cleared it, and they said rap. And I went in the booth, and rappers that haven't made records have a million rhymes. They're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Rule one, if you're a well-known rapper, never battle an unsigned rapper.
That rule still applies. It still applies.
I had a bunch of rhymes, right? So I went in there and they were like, say a rhyme. So I had to write a hook. I knew I needed a hook. So I wrote, you know, I'm a player. That's all I know. In a summer day, I play in the snow, meaning cocaine. From the womb to the tomb, I run my game because I'm cold as ice and I show no shame. So that's all I needed. And once I did that, I just went in there. You know, the ladies say that I'm heaven sent because I got more money than the U.S. Mint. I ride ragtop rolls, rocks on my hand, Maseratis, Mercedes-Benz, ocean liners, private jets, Bel Air bookies place my bets. I own islands off the coast of France, and I wear designer shirts and pants. Honey, when I was brought into this world, my mama never asked if I was a boy or a girl because I rolled over to her and gave her a kiss, and she said, yo, daddy don't rock me like this. All right, so this is the Coldest Rap. So I say this shit right off the head, off the dome, and that's my first record on Saturn Records, produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I made $200.
Wow. So how does that parlay into when we first met you nationally with Breaking?
Well, that was my first experience with records, and when you want to make a record, you want to make a record more than get paid. You just want to make a record. So I made that record. That record's what led me to the Radiotron. See what I'm saying? They heard I had a record and they booked me to come. And and I was at the Radiotron when the movie Breaking came in. When the movie Breaking came in, they said, we said, can we make a song for the album? Me and Glove made Reckless.
Right.
Which Eminem says the first rap record he ever heard. And that was like, you know, Reckless went platinum.
Right.
So I had got a bag, but I didn't have a record deal or anything. And then I I was connected to this other DJ in LA called Unknown, and we made a record.
Was he Unknown from Compton's Most Wanted?
Yeah.
Down with them? Yeah.
Yeah, he had a label called Techno Hop, and Compton's Most Wanted was on there. And he was like, "Come on, Ice, let's make a record for me. Fuck that, you know." And I said, "Okay." So I made a record called "You Don't Quit," and then the second one was "Dog on the Wax" with 6 in the Morning on the B side. And as Chuck D said, when that hit, my identity was connected. And
I mean, but at the time, were you conscious of like, okay, I've been party rocking now. How can I pivot to reality rhymes? Like, what was your mind state with that?
I was trying to be a rapper. I was rapping like Mel and them. You know, I'm wearing spikes and shit. You know, I thought, you know, this is what you got to do. And I'm trying to get in. You know, there's nobody in LA to look at. And
yeah, but 6 in the Morning was pretty serious at the time. So,
but that came from Schoolie D. See,
right? Okay. Thank you.
You know what? I'm always tell you the truth because my boys told me, they say, Ice, never lie because motherfuckers ain't gonna believe the truth. You understand? So this,
right.
Give them the truth. No, I'm saying these rhymes to my boys. I'm saying that gangster shit. You know, strolling through the city, middle of the night, niggas on my left, niggas on my right, yelling, cut, rip to everybody I see. If you bad enough, come fuck with me. So I'm saying these kind of rhymes for the gangs. But I was like, that's negative shit. Like, people don't want to hear that. So I'm saying certain raps to entertain my friends. And then I'm saying party rhymes for hip hop. You feel me?
Right.
I know the Iceberg Slim type shit, but I don't know what translates. So then I hear PSK. And it blew my mind. I was in Santa Monica and I heard first the track came on. The track sounded, I never done Angel Dust, but the track sounded like Angel Dust.
A bunch of reverb, yeah.
I'm like, and then Schoolie came on. PSK, we making that green. People always say. Now, at that time, everyone was yelling on records. Who is that fly nigga? You know, one by one, I'm knocking out. Keys for the way my DJ's cut. You know, put my pistol up against his head. Says, suck ass nigga, I should shoot you dead. So I was like, then I researched it. PSK's Parkside Killers. He's repping a set. It's okay. Feel me? That was the green light. Like, oh, they want to hear this kind of shit? I got
this all day.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So we go in and we do 6 in the Morning. At 6 in the Morning, I took remember the Beastie Boys had a record called Hold It Now, Hit It?
Yeah.
Hold It Now, where the record kind of stopped and then it took off again. So I wanted that for 6 in the Morning. So that's where the dun, 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 like the record, then boom, boom, it starts again. So that so Hold It Now, Hit It was the genesis of that track. The beat, just a basic beat, kind of something with 808, and then I come in on the same exact cadence as Schoolie D. PSK, we're making that green. 6 in the Morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Bow. And that is, it was more graphic and deeper. Now, was it gonna hit? I don't know. So I get a call from the Fillmore West in Frisco. We'd like you to do a show up here. I'm like, sure, you know, boom, bam. 5 days later, they call me back. We want you to do a show up here. I said, I already booked the show in that same place. They said, that's sold out. Word? I'm not on LA radio, but they start playing me on KMEL up there in the Bay. It was on. And then later on, you want to track the movement, Cube did the record. Boys in the Hood are always hard, right? A lot of times rappers will jack cadences and you won't even know it.
And not give the credit.
Well,
thank you.
You know what? You know, players love to give credit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you. Like Colors, West will get this. Colors comes from Mythological by King's Son. Colors, listen to King's Son. When I get ill, it's a reason, because it's duck season. Hunter of the fronter, right? That's how mythological rappers. You got a lot to learn. Remember that record?
I've not heard that record. Mythological.
Mythological by King. You know King's son.
Yes,
right?
of course I know King's son.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's how it comes on. When I get ill, it's a reason, because it's duck season. Hunter of the fronter. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking,
right?
King of the jungle, just a gangster stalking. So, you know, you can. I think all of us are influenced by other people, and if it's done well, because hip hop is all samples and stuff. If it's done well, you'll never know. You'll never know because it's done well. But I always try to give a shout out to the people that inspired those particular songs. You know,
I've been friends with Seymour about 11, 12 years now, because I'm also on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame committee.
Seymour Stein's a genius, man.
He literally says, you know, and he's had like health issues and all that stuff in the past 10 years. He's like, he is not going 6 feet underground until he gets you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And literally every year, it's, in case you don't think like you're even thought of or in line or whatever, but Seymour, like you're always, we get 2 votes each as a committee member on who gets nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Seymour always throws, like, from when I was first there in 2007 to now, like,
well, let me tell you my Seymour Stein story.
Yes, tell me your Seymour Stein. Seymour Stein, the president of Sire Records,
who signed the Talking Heads, Madonna, Ministry, Ramones.
Yeah.
So I have 6 in the morning out, and it was getting energy off from in the East Coast. Scott LaRock was playing it, and Africa Islam was somebody who I met at the radio, who was very intrigued with me, because the New York rappers would come out to LA. I already had the Porsche, the jewelry, the money, and the girls. And at that time, nobody had made any money on rap. Rap niggas hadn't bought cars yet, you know?
Right.
So they like, why do you want to rap? You know? But what I was doing, I knew my days was lower than low digits. I knew my days was had low mileage. It was getting ready to get, the warranty was about to be up. All right, so I want to rap. I like rapping, and my friends were going to prison, penitentiary, blah, blah, getting shot, this, that, and the other, because we was active. So Islam liked me. Like, he just liked me. And so he said, he was in Bronx, he's like, Ice, they won't play your record in New York unless you come to New York. Because what you're talking, they need to see you're authentic. So I came out to 156 in Tenton, South Bronx, and I was out there. So I met Scott LaRock, and by it being Africa Islam, I met New York from the top down.
Wait, what was your look at the time? I'm sorry, I'm trying to picture this, because like you said, Ice, like you had the hair, so you went to the Bronx looking like
I have Fila on and jewelry and a perm.
Okay, make sure. I'm sorry.
Them niggas just thought I looked like a pimp, you know. But I was rapping my West Coast shit, and a player plays the whole bubble, from the pineapple to the big apple, from the snowflakes to the earthquakes. You understand me? Wherever I touch down, I'm gonna make it my town. So I had the charisma and the gift of gab that all the New York niggas liked me. I was different, but they liked me. They knew I wasn't no bitch, so they liked me. So is by being a boss, I meet Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, Scott LaRock. I meet all the bosses. So I'm hanging out, and there was a guy named Ralph Cooper Jr. You know who that is, Quest?
I do not know Ralph Cooper Jr.
Ralph Cooper Sr. was one of the Apollo cats that like ran the Apollo from back.
Okay.
So he's his son.
Okay.
So Ralph Cooper Jr. was like trying to be an agent, and he connected me and Melly Mel, and we did a record on Spring Records. And I was in the studio with Melly Mel and Kaz, like these idols of mine. And he took a compilation to Seymour Stein. It was Melly Mel, Grandmaster Kaz, Donald D from the B-Boys. It had the song Stick Up Kids and Girls.
Right.
Myself and a kid named Bronx Style Bob.
Oh, wow.
Right? This was the compilation. Kaz was still connected to, Kaz had a thing with Tough City. a deal. Mel had something with Sugar Hill.
Right.
Donald had something with Entertainment. I was free, and Bob had never made a record.
Okay.
So Seymour just said, "I'll take Ice-T," and he wasn't hip hop enough to know that you couldn't rap if you were from the West Coast. His ignorance was like, "Fuck it, I'll take Ice-T," and I'll never forget. Me and Islam went up to Sire Records to meet with him, and Seymour was dancing around in his socks. And Seymour looked me in the eyes and said, "You have such beautiful eyes." And I was like, "Oh shit. This is that part where they want me to do some gay shit." And Islam was like, "Stay down. He's gonna sign the check. Stay down. Just hold your ground." So then he said, "You sound like Bob Dylan." And I knew Bob Dylan was a Subterranean Homesick Blues. He's rapping on that. I'm
Right.
like, okay. And then Seymour said the most genius shit to me. He said, "Do you understand the music from Trinidad, this stuff they're singing about, the calypso music?" I'm like, "No." He said, "They're singing about the problems here in the islands." He says, "But just because you don't understand it does not make it invalid. It just means you don't understand it. In the same way I might not understand hip hop, but it doesn't make what you're saying any less valid. It's just I don't understand it, but I know you're saying something." So he gave me $40,000, and we made the first album. We went out and bought a SB12, a 909, and a gold chain.
Because what else do you need?
Starter Kit 101.
Made the whole album in Secret Sound Studios, mixed the whole album in one night. No automation back in them days.
Right.
And Ryan Pays now is platinum. So $40,000 budget. And Seymour was he was smart enough to say he didn't know. I'll never forget, here's another story. There's a lyric in this record I did called I Love the Ladies, where I go, "Guys grab a girl, girls grab a guy. If a guy wants a guy, please take it outside." So Seymour goes, "Ice, it's gay." I said, "Seymour, I'm not gay bashing, but if you could say you're gay, can I say I'm straight?"
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "Has your daughter listened to it?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What does she say?" "She loves it." And then I said, "Seymour, that tension you feel, that might be money." And he said, "Touche," hung the phone up. That tension is the money. That's the money right there, you know? And, you know.
So let me ask if, I know that okay, so he's correct. Hip hop was territorial. Now, I have family in the West Coast. So I would spend summers in LA and only hear, Toddy T's Bataram.
Yes.
Heard You a Lot and all that stuff. Meanwhile, like I'll get home and I'm like 4 months late to like the show in Lottie Dottie. Like I'd never heard of Dougie Fresh or Slick Rick until I came home from LA, because I didn't hear those records in LA at the time in like the summer of 85 or whatnot. Use marketing to the hilt.
Yeah.
And, it was like just based on your album covers alone, we were going to buy your records.
But dig it, Quest, this is what the deal was, right? I was never going to get on the radio, right? I had already determined that because we decided we were outlaw music. So me, Luke, Too Short, Ghetto Boys, we were cursing. And at that time, I refused to do a radio edit. That was like selling out to me. Fuck that. Like,
right.
This is how the shit is. Now, there was a time where you could get people to buy records because they had stickers on them. Like people wanted that forbidden shit, right? So what I did as far as marketing does, I hired Glenn Friedman. You know Glenn?
Yes. Legendary Glenn Friedman. Yes.
He did LL's cover. He did Run's cover. He done Beastie Boy covers. So I'm like, I need my cover to be at the same quality as them. So it sits right alongside of them. You got to have the palm tree, you got the Porsche, you got to have the girl. You cannot look like New York. And then I had a meeting with my team because I was the first rapper signed to Warner Brothers. I was there, but I was the first rapper signed to a major, really.
Mhm.
And that was before Cold Chillin' came over there and Uptown came over there. But I took a map and I said, okay, I circled the tri-state area. And I said, okay, this is New York, this is Philly, this is Jersey, this is hip hop, right? That's the East Coast. But dig this, the West Coast starts right here, right on the outside of Philly. I just wiped the whole map.
Right.
I said, because anybody that's not from that tri-state doesn't give a fuck because they're not from either. So Detroit, we want Detroit. We want Chicago.
West, yeah.
We just called everything from Philly the West Coast because
Right.
New York was holding it so tight. We'll just take the rest of this shit. So, and it still stands today. If you're not from New York and you're from Oklahoma, you don't give a fuck you don't care because you're not either.
Mhm.
So Luke had that same science. They were down in Florida getting a bunch of money. Sir Mix-a-Lot got a bunch of money from Washington. So New York kind of shot themselves in the foot early in the game by being so regional. That hip hop's going to grow. Hip hop is a virus. It's going to grow whether you water it or
Want it or not. Yo, so okay, there's one of your legendary shows is still in its complete form on YouTube. There's a show of yours live in Vancouver in 1988-89.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how heavy, by this time, your third album, Just Watch What You Say, Freedom of Speech is out. And based on your intro alone, with the Shut Up Be Happy joint, like your show was so high powered. It was almost like a rock show even before
body count.
The body count thing starts. So at what point are you pivoting to that level of energy in your live shows where it's almost like a rock show, even though it is you and Evil Lee like on stage just rocking together?
You know what it is, Quest? My always thing was like, if you're coming to see a show, what are you coming to see? So if I'm coming to see the Fat Boys, I'm coming to see 3 Fat Boys. If I'm coming to see Curtis Blow, it's Curtis Blow. So what is Ice-T? And my thing was, I'm going to take you into the darkness of South Central Los Angeles. I'm gonna set up this energy that's dark and sinister and stuff. So we had the cats with the vests on early in the game and all that kind of stuff. The metal influence was just darkness to me. We tried not to do happy records, even though we did shit, let's get butt naked and fuck and stuff like that. But it was always an intention to keep it still to today. Like Chuck will say, Ice is one of the most theatrical rappers because I like to bring everything down and just put a spotlight on me and just let me take you there on these adventures, like on Midnight, But that was just a choice because Kane's dancing.
Right.
I ain't got no motherfucking dancers. You know what I'm saying? Dougie Fresh, because our first tour we went out on a Dope Jam tour. It was us, KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions, Kumo D, Dougie Fresh, Eric B. and Rakim. It was somebody, Bismarck.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the opening act. So how do you I'm from the era, Quest, where you gotta be different. Like you can't be like everybody else. So we had a police car out there and we're throwing money for Make It Rain. We had cell phones, big phones, and we were giving you that energy. So I just didn't want to be the guy that comes out on the stage and is, looking cool and trying to rap. I want to set a tone, and that's what that was all about. It still is when you go see Ice-T show.
All right, this is the question I always wanted to know and have answered, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to answer it.
Okay.
I do not know the history of the story, so Break it down like I'm in kindergarten.
Mhm.
What was now, as we talked about earlier with the Grammy thing, my one concern was, are you and LL going to be cool with each other? Because I don't know if you guys
Cool.
mended it or made up or whatever. Can you please tell me what the genesis of the beef between you two? Because, you know, when I heard Pusha Man and
Simple.
your Pusha Man rejected LL, I was like, whoa, what was that about?
It's simple.
All right.
I started it. And you know, LL was, I'm the baddest, I'm the greatest, I'm this, I'm that. Okay. LL was actually out before me. So
Right.
he was like the Eminem, or he was the dude you gotta get. I'm coming out of LA. I got the whole West Coast on my back. I don't got the Crips and the Bloods. I got the Crips and the Bloods and Bay Area, everybody on my back. Ice-T. Hey, it's just what it is. I got to take off on this nigga. I got to let him know, like, you might think you the best. Fuck that, you know? And that's just part of the culture. That's just what it is, you know, because I can't come out from LA and say, oh, bow to LL Cool J right now. Not when I'm trying to come out. Like she was talking about being a boss. Yo, you got to set it with this nigga. Like, so I set it off, right? And he came back. He got at me on the Break of Dawn. And I was going to reply. I had a record called Open Contract, and Bambaataa and them stepped in because L was trying to be down with Zulus. There was a legendary meetup with me and him at a Flavor Flav party, and we squashed it before it got hectic, you know. But we were just, it was one of those things. He was battling Kumo D. He was battling a bunch of motherfuckers.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah, but it was me. I started it. And I did it as an act of war. Like, I did it because it was time for Ice-T to step up and say, fuck you, you know? Now.
So it was business, not personal.
I don't know LL Cool J. It's business, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like, that's what hip hop was, you know, like, you know, you challenge the nigga, whoever's the boss at the time, and he was the boss. And I was,
and never at no point was it like, yo, let me be down with this dude. Like,
nah, I mean, I'm from LA. I'm from gangland. You know what I'm saying? We don't get down like that. We you know, you got to set it. Like that's what my coast expected me to do. And so what me and him agreed to do was not necessarily apologize, but just not talk about it. No. So we never talked about it, and that was it. And I never held anything against LL. But the crazy part of the story, Quest, me and LL bumped into each other 25 years later in Monte Carlo.
Of course. Both of the police officers. Both of the officers. I love it. Go ahead.
We were at a television a convention, and I walked up to LL and extended my hand and said, man, me and you have never talked, da-di-da-di-da.
Yeah.
I want to let you know, like you said, it wasn't personal, it was only business. You know, I had to come at you, man. You was the guy to come at. And he was like, Ice, it was a culture. And that was it. And then he called me up. He said, Ice, I need you to help me out on Rock the Bells radio. And since then, me and him have podcasted together and all that. You know, it's like, is Roxanne Shante still mad? You know, it's like
right.
part of the game back then.
You're ridiculous.
Can I ask? So in your prominence and in your rise, as you're making these records, for people that are watching you, like, is art imitating life? Because I know that once you rise up in stature, then damn near the whole West Coast is willing to ride for you. Now, I can't imagine that everyone is wishing you well, wishing you good luck or whatever. Like, again, you said that you're a reluctant leader. So how do you know who to weed out, like who's good for the organization and who to weed out, who to avoid, who's going to kill the money, who's going to drop the bag on you? Like, how are you navigating in terms of knowing which right team to have on your side in terms of stopping your bag, so to speak, by having the wrong people associated with you?
All right, well, now, gotta remember, I got put on by Zulu Nation, right? So I admired the Zulu Nation, how they had Tribe Called Quest and Bust and all these cats together, and they were all going in the same direction. I really admired that whole Zulu thing. So
Okay.
I went back to LA. Now I study gangsters, right? So I was reading up on Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky and all these cats. And Lucky Luciano created this thing called the Commission, which kept the 5 families from killing each other because they created sit downs. So I created something in LA called the Syndicate, the Rhyme Syndicate, which was a group of groups with a common goal with no boss. So Cypress Hill, that's a crew. DJ Aladdin and Dub C, Low Profile, that's a crew. So all these different groups, Everlast, that's a group. Each one of these cats had a group of people. And we made an agreement before we would beef, we would sit down and talk. And that's why you've never heard of a West Coast beef ever, because anybody that wasn't Syndicate was either NWA or Delicious Vinyl, which was just Tone Loc and Young MC.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like Syndicate 2 a little bit. Now, NWA had a beef, but that was a family feud. And everyone had to step back because it was a family
Let
feud.
family work it out, right?
That's blood.
Let the family work out. But the Syndicate is still alive. And King T was part of it, the Alcoholics, because I created something that said, I'm not in charge. Each one of you cells are separate, but together we're powerful. And that's what I did. I created an organization. People say you created your own gang. I did. And inside of it, there was no gang banging. So if you was Syndicate, you no longer was Cripple Blood. When we're in the studio, we're all part of the same shit. And I just taught them all, like, look, man, we all going in the same direction, and ain't no reason to be hating on somebody unless you a bitch. So all of us should help each other. And that's how the producers start to get in waved and all the different stuff like that. And Dre and them understood, and it was just love. I got a good sense of, you know, who's around me and shit like that, but you got to keep that your whole life. Got to keep remembering I'm an orphan, so I'm hypersensitive to everything that's going on around me. I'm hypersensitive. So,
But as an orphan, did you feel like the obligatory, all right, I got to take you all with me, I got to take care of all of you, or?
Early I did. When I first got some bread, legit bread, I never felt that way with illegal money. You know, with illegal money, nigga, I got this, it's mine. Like, nigga, like, you know, I never felt charitable or any of that shit, you know, because I'm taking penitentiary chances for this. But when I start getting legit money, the first time I got it, I couldn't hold food down. I would actually throw my food back up because I went to a gastrologist, and he said they thought I had ulcers, and they're like, nah. And they sent me to a sports psychiatrist. And this is the guy that helps people hit 100-mile-an-hour fastballs while they're going through a $100 million divorce. And he said, tell me your problems, Ice. I talked for about a half hour. Quiet, guys. My dog. He said, tell me your problems. And I talked, and then he gave me a prescription, Quest. He pushed it to me, and it said no. He said, you just talked for an hour, half hour. You didn't tell me about any of your problems. You told me about all your friends' problems. He said, there's a guilt that goes along with success. And now the fact that you're successful, you feel guilty that your friends aren't doing well. But you got to learn how to say no, because when you say yes, you take someone else's problem and turn it into yours.
Damn.
And I had to learn how to say no to a lot of people. But no's a great word. It'll test the temperature of any relationship, even your woman.
I'm just learning no in the last 3
Yeah, they'll drive you crazy. Because, see, you got to have, like we talking about the daily game, you got to have limits, because takers have no limits. They'll ravage you, you know? So you got to set a limit. You know, I use my gut. But I've been fortunate. I've been betrayed. I got set up by my boys, almost got killed. I've been through it, but still.
Have you got to the point where you have to protect your energy as well now too? Like where you've understood that as well?
Yeah. Well, it gave me high blood pressure.
Mm.
You know? So now, if you try to, if me and you were friends and you tried to aggravate me, my brain says, I'm not gonna let you kill me. You ain't gonna kill me.
Right.
You got to go. So I learned how to, I can disconnect from people real quick, and it's a known fact. So the people that are in my circle know Ice does not. The nigga's name is Ice. I don't want no stress. Everybody better keep it calm, and I will excommunicate you. Like, don't bring it. My boys will call me up and it'd be like this. It'd be like, yo, what's up, Ice? No drama. No drama.
Right.
They already know.
No drama. No drama. Because my life is, I'm in a different place right now, man. I got fish aquariums and I'm not. I spent my time on the front line. I'm cool. Like niggas is like I'm outside. I'm like I'm inside, man.
So let me ask. So, there's a period between 88, 89, 90 in which, like, I will say that you became the go-to pundit or voice to politically speak on behalf of, rap music, or like you're on Donahue this week and you're on, Ted Koppel this week. And like how exhausting was it being like having that weight placed on your shoulders? Because, there was a point where, and I don't know if you remember this, I think back in 86, Run DMC and them did a show in either in Anaheim or Long Beach or something. And, this is the first time we're hearing about like violence and rap music and all that stuff. And suddenly it's like you were the chosen mouthpiece for all of these like talk shows. How exhausting was that?
I kind of wanted to smoke.
You did. Yeah. So you wanted to play the outlaw and just.
No, I wanted to play the person that could intellectualize it and break it down for these people. Like my whole life has almost been explaining to the squares what the streets are thinking and explaining to the streets how the squares are thinking. Like I've been that translator in between, because even though I am hood, I'm also well-read and relatively intelligent. So I spoke in front of Congress, and I can break it down, for what's going on. So when they were coming at me about free speech or this, that, and the other, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I mean, at the end of the day, it was me, Chuck, and Chris, who kind of like would have, and even still today, man, George Floyd comes up, my timeline blows up like ice, and I'm like, it's honestly a damn shame that there's no youngsters. I mean, Killer Mike is out there, but it's a damn shame that there's no real young people that can really speak for the culture.
Damn, you're right, Ice.
I mean, Kendrick doesn't speak that much, but there's nobody out there on the front line speaking about shit, so they keep going to me. And like I always tell people, I say, I'm gonna put it out there. If what we need right now, what hip hop and somebody could produce them, we need a 20-year-old Public Enemy, some little bad motherfuckers who would go head up with all the bullshit and let them know what's up, and a rebirth of a young Lauryn Hill.
Your mouth to God's ears, man.
Because those things are lacking right now in hip hop, and that those voices are needed. And the kids ain't gonna listen to me. I'm their grandfather. You know what I'm saying? So they not listening, but some little 20-year-old cats coming out, popping that shit and letting motherfuckers know you bullshitting, you worried about this Gucci shit, you over here fucking up, blah. What Public Enemy did for us, we need another group to do that for the youth.
No, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about OG Original Gangsta and recording that album. That's my favorite album of yours. I played.
Thank you. What happens is hip hop doesn't have a name for what we're doing. They don't have a name for the music yet. So they're trying to call it reality rap. They don't really know what it is. And for a minute, I called my stuff reality rap. But that wasn't true, because it's not everybody's reality. It was my reality. So Cube comes out Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton dropped. I was already on my third album, and when they dropped, it felt like Godzilla had landed. Like they came out like whoa. I was like yo, and the first lyrics Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from the gang called Niggas with Attitudes. So they referred to their rap group as a gang. The press said Gangsta Rap. Mm-hmm. That's where the term Gangsta Rap came from. The press coined it from Cube. Now, I've been doing it for 2 years, so I said, okay, well, if it's Gangsta Rap, I'm the original gangster. Feel me? Now, OG is a term that gangs have been using in LA for decades. It just means first generation of the set. So if Questlove is OG Roots, there might have been people that changed members, but he's OG. He's one of the first members. Mm-hmm. So here comes this word original gangster, and I do an album that had 24 cuts on it, and they had just stopped making vinyl, and it was supposed to have been a double album. And I always like to do first. I was always into doing first. I was like, you can always argue who is better, but you can't argue who is first, Mm-hmm. So I want to be first. And Chuck says Ice-T is the only person he knows that does things that totally jeopardize his entire existence to stay awake. Just fuck it. Everything's going good. Fuck it. Let's just try it a different way. So that's it, the OG album. And it was a big, mega long album with a lot of different lenses and a lot of different energies.
How easy was it in transitioning to acting? Like, did it take long for Mario to convince you to do New Jack City?
You got great questions because, all right, first off, I'm not no motherfucking actor. Like, I mean, everybody looks at TV and goes, I wish I could do that, but who has a chance to do it, So I've been in the breaking movies. In the breaking movies, I was called featured rap talker. How about that? They didn't even know what a rapper was, right? You heard the story about New Jack City?
No.
Well, I know about George Jackson's coining the term, but
please.
I don't know the story.
I'm in a toilet stall in a club, and some niggas is talking shit to me in the toilet. I'm taking a shit. I'm sitting there, and motherfuckers is like, Ice, you cold, man. You be telling this, that, and that. I said, yo, player, the problem is if they could take a microscope and find one molecule in my body that gave a fuck, then they'd have a chance. But there's not one. And so Mario overhears that and says, whoever said that is the star of my movie. Whoever said that. And it was me. So I'm in the club campaigning to 3 girls, right? I'm talking this shit to these chicks, and Mario comes up with the Hollywood bullshit. I'm producing a movie. I want you to be in it. I'm like, that's some old bullshit. Like, you trying to let these girls know you're a producer. Yeah, Mario.
Did you know who he was?
Yeah, but I knew.
Okay. As Sonny Spoon. Never mind. Go ahead.
Quest, you know the Hollywood bullshit when somebody walks up in the middle of your conversation with somebody, hey, we should work. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you could find me if you want to work. Like, this is so staged. So I'm like, okay, ladies, this is Mario Van Peebles, da-dee-da-dee-da. But he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
So he hands me a card. So he calls me, call Warner Brothers tomorrow. So I call it. They say, come up here, blah. I come through the gates. I get there, and they show me the script. They want you to play Scotty. I read that shit, Quest. I was like, yo, this is all the words. Like, I thought it was a cameo. Nah, this is a star. I'm like, I can't act. Yes, you can. I keep reading. This nigga's the police. Yeah. I got an album coming out called Original Gangsta. You want to play the police? Wait a minute. Whoa. He got dreads? I got a perm. Like, hold everything. So I'm this totally like, nah, I can't do this. But then I talked to people and they were like, man, if you fuck up this, back at the beauty parlor where I got most of my game, I had this hairdresser named Pearl. And she said, you niggas running around here talking about no opportunities, no opportunities. And here's one, and you gonna turn this down. If you turn this down, Ice, you a real live sucker, because this is a great opportunity. Niggas know you ain't the police. Nigga, you better go up in there and do that gig. And then I'll talk to my boys. They're like, I say, man, they want me to play the police. Them niggas be like, word? Can I be in the movie? That's all they
all they care about.
So I did the movie, and I was scared shitless that it was going to end my career, because at that time, no rapper had taken a dramatic role yet.
Hold on. Is that real?
No, he's right. He is right.
Will Smith. The only thing Run DMC did Tougher Than Leather, Groove, and all that old shit.
Yeah, that don't count.
Now this was
acting like somebody else that not you. Nobody.
You was the first.
I told you I'm on my first shit.
That's weird, because
these
usually
flowers at you. That's why I'm slapping your ass with these flowers.
Usually the first one who's the pioneer never gets the just desserts that the person that comes behind them does.
True.
So that is risky that you want to be first, but I always see history as the second person that masters it. But
I did it, Pac did it, everybody started doing it. But back in the day when being a rapper, like, you want to act like you was betraying the culture, like it just wasn't. At that time, rappers wasn't even owning their own labels. Like, rappers was very in this own zone. So they got me, they got Chris Rock, who is the newest underground, cat. Wesley had only done 2 movies, Major League and a Spike Lee flip. So they didn't trip off this. They didn't have enough black actors to make the movie.
Wow.
What?
Now we could do Black Panther. There were not enough young black actors that had any potential to pull a crowd. So they said, Ice-T selling millions of records.
Right.
And
because Alan Payne and Vanessa Williams couldn't have done it alone. Right.
Or Wesley.
Wesley.
So they used the power of the rap and me and Chris being hot on the street, George Jackson and Doug McHenry, they put us in the role, and the shit popped off. I was scared as fuck. The movie made $87 million. I got paid $25,000.
Wow.
So what was so by the time you get to Trespass and Surviving the Game
that's my favorite Ice-T movie. That's Surviving the Game is the one.
Well, the second movie, about this. The second movie was Ricochet with Denzel.
Yeah,
Ricochet, right?
Yes.
So can I ask how is Hollywood? Because the thing is, now it's nothing for for people to pivot into other areas and other mediums. But how's the reception to you coming into their territory?
Hollywood's simple. If the movie you're in makes money, you're gonna be in another movie. That's just Hollywood. It's like, it's money, it's pimping. If this hoe can make me some money here, maybe it can make me some money there. They don't care. They can't really tell what great acting is. They can tell what the fan response is. So that works, cool. So New Jack City was a hit. In comes some scripts. Let's see if he could do it again. So I walked into Joel Silver's office, one of the biggest producers, and I said, okay, New Jack City, they fucked me, right? But I know I'm about to get paid. I'm with Denzel, about to get paid. That motherfucker looked at me and said, Ice-T, you've done one movie. I was like, so I bent over and took it again. I got for Ricochet, I got twice what I got for New Jack City, and I didn't work as much.
Okay.
My payday didn't come till I did Tank Girl, where I played a kangaroo.
I remember that.
With Lori Petty. I was doing Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves, and they call me, they say, will you play a stripper in Arizona? I'm like, hell yeah. This is my chance to show LL what it looked like. I'm like, so I was on Swole. You seen the original Gangster poster, so I was on my bullshit. So that night I did like 1,000 crunches. I'm like, I'm about to let these ladies know what's happening, right? So the next day they sent me a picture of a kangaroo. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I a stripper? Like, I open my pouch? Like, what the fuck is this? And they like, no, it's a ripper. It's a kangaroo. And the movie's called Tank Girl.
Right. Oh, because you played a mixture. Yeah, you was a.
Right.
I forgot.
But Lila, you got to understand, I'm with Keanu Reeves doing a big motion picture. Now they telling me to do something called Tank Girl as a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Like, are y'all out your motherfucking mind? Like, what's really good? And then they told me how much I was going to get.
Exactly.
And I was hopping around the hotel. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like, you know, because they like, when you sell out, see, selling out is doing something that's totally against your beliefs.
Yeah.
When they can make you be quiet. I have nothing against fucking kangaroos. I have nothing at all against them. So I was like, fuck this. I'll be a motherfucking kangaroo. And I got a bag for that. That's the first mil plus role.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I'll say that, you know, America is now just adapted to festival lifestyle, but you know, you're a pioneer in the fact that you were one of the very first acts on Lollapalooza, which is really America's first true festival. I mean, besides, you know, Farm Aid or, you know, whatever, but what was the experience of Lollapalooza like, especially that first year where all this stuff was brand new to American culture?
Okay, there's always a story behind Ice-T shit, but I like people to know so they can get a true understanding of how this game is, because it's not as simple as that. Ernie, Body Count was now just starting. We were playing like pizza joints and just getting a vibe for what this band was. And Ernie had met Perry Farrell.
Right.
Perry Farrell was doing a video called The Gift, where he wanted someone to sing Nigger Whitey with him. Sly Stone shit.
Yeah.
Right? So Ernie says Ice-T. Ice-T's hardcore. This is the perfect person. So I come to the video shoot. I know the song. I got no problem singing it with him. And we sang Nigger Whitey back up on Call Me Nigger Whitey. Don't call me Whitey, nigga. So we doing this shit. So after we did the video, he says, Ice, I'm about to do a tour called Lollapalooza. It's going to have Butthole Surfers, Rollins Band. He was naming bands he wanted to get. And he said, I want to take a rapper out. Would you like to go? I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So what happened was I had an hour set, 55-minute set. And then they said, you could do whatever you want. And I split the set and I did half Ice-T, half Body Count. That's where I introduced Body Count to the world. And after I would do my rap set, I said, now I'm about to prove to you that rock and roll has nothing to do with color. It's a state of mind. And we turned the guitars up and blah, and that was it.
So
you ain't want to remind them rock and roll was ours from the jump anyway. So,
well, you know, hip hop is rock, whether people want to claim it or not. You don't R&B the mic. We rock the mic. We rock the house. Rock. See, pop is when you sing what everybody wants to hear. This is what I learned this from Quincy Jones. Pop is easy to do. Sing what people want to hear. Go to school, love your mother, da-da-da. That's pop. Be popular. Rock is fuck that. I'm going to do this shit my fucking way. That's rock. Now, whether you do that with pianos, whether you do that with guitars, or you do that with a mic or some drums, hip hop is rock. Period.
all right. I know you've been asked a bajillion times about the cop killer incident.
Why not?
No, I know, but you know, I also feel like that doesn't define you, especially now.
But you know what it is though? You only get stripes for fighting battles. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very proud of my battles. You know,
should be,
because that was a moment where I could have got taken out. You know, like not even just my career. They were trying to get rid of a nigga, you know?
That's what I want to know. Like, how serious?
How real did it get?
How serious? Like, what was the worst part of the entire? I mean, I've seen the Charleston Heston speech. I've seen, you know, them talk. Like, were you about to be threatened to be arrested, or like, how bad was it?
The worst shit was bomb threats to Warner Brothers, where they had to clear the building on several occasions.
Whoa, what?
They were threatening to blow up Warner Brothers. and they had to clear the building on several occasions on the count of me because they were getting bomb threats. Yeah, it got heavy.
Shit.
Who's threatening? Because we're talking about the authority. So who is the threat? That's the interesting part.
This is something you got to understand with beef. If you create beef, the beef that you might not have problems with the people you're beefing with. You have a problem with outsiders. Let's say hypothetically, I got in a beef with, let's say, Method Man, who's one of my good friends. I ain't got to worry about running the meth. I could run into some Wu-Tang fans. I could run into somebody who loves him at a restaurant. I could run into some girls that fuck you, Ice. It can happen. So when you diss the cops, you can run into somebody whose brother's a cop, an ex-cop, somebody who's just a patriot. You set up energy of beef out there. You don't know where it's gonna come.
You're never just beefing with one person.
Yeah, right. You're beefing with their fans,
Right.
every fucking body. So I was, when we did Cop Killer and they made it a big thing by it becoming so public, it gave more people a chance to dislike me. It wasn't a small thing. It went national. Now, you got to understand there's levels of news. Like all this shit that's on the black blogs, that's nigga news. That news, you ain't gonna know about that. But when it makes it to CNN, that's national news. Follow what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I gotta do a parallel, folks. It's kind of like Kieran. I gotta do the white parallel because we can't just do nigga news. We gotta do cracker news too. So okay, I got you though. Go ahead.
But the certain blogs that we listen to,
yes,
right?
Yes.
If you talk to somebody in the mainstream, they have no idea that such and such is beef, or they don't know about that stuff. TMZ starting to leak a little bit of our business out there, but who's cheating on who? They don't care.
If it makes money, right?
National news is coming on right after the war in Ukraine. War in Ukraine. Now Ice-T and Warner Brothers. This is now you're in front of the world. This is big shit. So you got to know, like, a lot of the stuff that we take as big isn't really that big. It's kind of like cultural, and it hasn't really made it to the mainstream. This shit was big. The president was on my bumper. Let me date myself. We were playing Techno Bowl, Quest.
Techno Bowl, yes sir.
And my boy comes downstairs like, yo, the president is on TV talking about Ice. And we ran upstairs, and Quail said, "An iced tea." And
Bushes, okay,
right.
It was son of a Bush, but the other Bush. So Quail's like, "Iced tea," and all the homies in the house was like, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." See, very few people will ever have a living president say their name in anger. That's saved for like terrorists and Bin Laden and shit like that.
Right.
When the president is mad at you, fuck the police. You have the United States government on your bumper. I got tax audited twice that year. I had ice cream trucks sitting in front of my house in the middle of the winter. These motherfuckers is on you. They try, because when a president says Questlove, this guy's a problem. All the FBI, DEA, all them do background checks because the next question could be, what do we know about him? They can't say he plays on Tonight Show. He's a drummer. Right. They gotta say his shoe size is this. His blood type is this. This happens. When that happens, you feel it. You feel the government looking you up and down to try to find out. Because they had to check and see, was I really trying to make a call to arms? Was I telling people, go kill the cops? Am I a problem? Which I wasn't. I was just making a record.
Did you feel vindicated because Rodney King happens a year later?
No, they blame Rodney King on me. They spun it to make it seem like I made that record because of Rodney King. I got caught in a big. It was a political year. The Colonel Order of Police out of Texas spun it. They spun it and made it seem like I caused the riots. They was on their bullshit. They had a big machine. But see, here's the trip. They weren't really mad at me. They were mad at Warner Brothers because they were like, okay, we understand Ice-T should be mad, but why white company
Why y'all put this shit out?
give him the platform to say this? And that became the death of Warner Brothers. You got to remember, when I did that, Warner Brothers had Prince, Warner Brothers had Slayer, they had the Ghetto Boys, they had Sam Kinison, they had anything that was edgy, and that ended. And when the last thing was when they dropped the deal with Interscope, when that was all happening, when Ted Turner came in, Warner Brothers had to separate from anything controversial because of me. I started the
Wow.
But for a second, did it feel like your bag was about to stop in terms of like people were not taking? Were you losing roles? Were you?
Yeah, New Jack City Part 2.
So there was going to be a sequel?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Me neither, but
Nino lived.
Well,
don't you
Wait,
just
you
drop
knew this,
shit like
Fonte?
that? Don't you just drop shit?
I saw George Jackson. They did an interview. This was years ago, but they mentioned it then.
But what happened was Wesley went off and he did, Demolition Man and made $7 million. And, I was in trouble. So now they can't hit Wesley's number because the whole movie New Jack was made for $5 million.
Right.
Everything happened. But what happened though? It's like when you get in some shit like this, I never pointed at any other rappers. I never pointed at any other rock groups because I'm like, yo, this is my heat. And, to me, that's kind of like snitching. It's kind of like, yo, you got caught, nigga, handle your business. Take it. This is your shit. So you never seen Ice-T. Well, what about this group? Or what about, I'm like, okay, you on me. Let's go. Fuck it. But the way they came at me, I didn't know if I was going to survive. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to stand my ground. And I remember I met with Minister Farrakhan at Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. And in all honesty, he just told me, he said, what you did wasn't subtle. If you stand in the street, expect to get hit by a car. So I had to learn that we have freedom of speech, but watch what you say. And I had the right to sing Cop Killer, but they also had the right to attack. So anything you say, prepare for the ramifications of what you say. And I was not prepared for the ramifications. I was just singing some shit and I wasn't ready for them to attack. So that's a lesson. You could say anything. We all have the right to say anything, but you also got to be, if you say something anti-gay, be prepared. You dig what I'm saying? If I mention any rapper's name, be prepared. So just don't be reckless talking and shit and think there won't be no smoke, And if I do say it, I should be ready for that smoke, If I'm Colin Kaepernick and I drop down and I'm going to pull a knee, I got to know the NFL's going to make a move on me. And I got to be strong enough to handle that, or I shouldn't do it.
You don't do it, man.
So don't protest and get fired and get mad because you got fired, because to protest, you gotta be prepared for the hit. There's going to be a hit back, or you're not really protesting nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
He dropped some gems there for us.
Come on, man.
I wanted to ask about the Home Invasion record because that one came on Priority. What led to that change from Warner to Priority?
Because after Cop Killer, Warner was scared to put my records out. So what happened was I came in with Home Invasion because now I'm consecutive. I had every record I put out with gold and power turned platinum. I'm hot over there. But they just went through some shit. Body Count itself now, it sold gold twice. It went gold with Cop Killer, then went gold without Cop Killer on it.
Wow.
I'm making some money over there for them. And I came in and they had my lyrics written on these big boards. They wrote it out.
Wow.
I had some foul. I had this one rhyme in G style where I say, I give a fuck about a cop or a G-man. They all talk shit, their breath smelling like semen. I catch them in the alley all alone, put them in the prone, pop, pop, pop to the dome. So I'm still killing cops, right? So,
The sentence alone, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's what I did. So
Yeah.
they pull this lyric out, that lyric out, this lyric out. And I was just like, you know what? Can I go?
You asked to go.
Yeah. I said, can I go? Because now I'm in a difficult place. They never A&R'd any of my music. It was just good, go, body count. They put out an album called Cop Killer. I love it over there. I'm in a great place. But now shit's changed. So Home Invasion was coming right after Cop Killer. So they let me go. They really didn't want me to go, but it was kind of like it was a fucked up situation. I was getting them in trouble.
Right.
And I'll never forget, they were like, as soon as we allow them to censor you, we're up shit creek.
Yeah.
We're up shit creek. And Warner stayed down with me. Even Gerald Levin wrote a big thing in the Wall Street Journal, the CEO of Time Warner, backing me up. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like it's kind of like me and you are friends, Quest, and I'm getting you in trouble, man. And I'm just like, look,
their hands are tied.
No, I'm just gonna bail, man. I gotta still do me. I gotta. It's like Dave Chappelle. I gotta go because I gotta do me because my career is based on my integrity, and I can't have y'all censoring my shit. So I go to Priority. Brian Turner did NWA and all them. They were still open and wide, and they were ready, and they took the record. But I'll tell you what Warner did, and nobody knows this. They didn't charge me for the album.
Wow.
So normally, let's say they gave me $500,000 to make that album. That was a lot of money back in the days. Now people are getting 3s and 5 millions to make records, but gave me $500,000. I didn't have to recoup it.
Nice.
They let you keep your tapes and just go to.
Yeah. So that was fly.
Wow.
That was fly. They didn't say, hey, you could take this album, but we got to get the money back. They just let me have it. So I took it over there. And, you know, I was fighting with the Source, and, you know, the Source was talking shit. Because
I remember that.
Because they thought I folded. They were like, Ice gave in. And, you know, and Chuck kept me saying, because Chuck D said, those that aren't in the war should never comment on the battles. They don't understand what the fuck is really going on in here.
Yes.
That's why on the record you like, Home Invasion, the first song is called It's On. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was like, yo, we can't take any cut off the product. You know, what we gonna do? I still got soldiers, turn up the mic, dog, so I can go off. Find me Charlton Heston and I might cut his head off, you know? I'm not to be fucked with. I was on my bullshit. I was mad, you know? And, you know, I say, Source Magazine, you're the first one. You tried to diss Chuck Cube and me. How the fuck you pick us three? You punk motherfuckers ain't shit. You just a bunch of hoes making money off the pros. And when I see you get you in my sights, I'll give you ass a story to write. It's on. So
I remember. How shocking was it for you, some like 19 years later, to sort of live through 99 Problems now becoming, you know, kind of an anthem? I trust that you're one of the publishers of 99 Problems.
Yeah, and you know what it is, Quest? Now everybody's trying to turn that into beef. It ain't beef. It's just no, it's no beef. It's a story, and the story.
I never knew there was beef.
Yeah, what's the beef?
I thought he sampled you or covered the song.
The new podcast people like to take clips of what you say and then cut it and switch
right,
and make
okay.
it look like Jay-Z stole the song.
No, he cleared it.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but the 99 Problems come from Brother Marquise.
Right.
And Brother Marquise was at my house and he was talking about Whoop, There It Is. You know where that record comes from?
Whoop, There It Is?
The original, not the 95 South version.
The one from Tag Team.
Tag Team, yes.
That's the Kano, I'm Ready. It was the bell.
All right, Tag Team was were the DJs in Magic City.
Right.
Okay.
And when the girls bent over, they'd say, and you've seen it, they say, Whoop, there it is.
That's where it came from. Okay.
That's where it came from. When you could see the cooch, whoop, there it is.
There it is. Magic City.
Now,
Magic City.
They turned that into the song. So Marquise is sitting in my house and he's like, Man, all the nights I sat in Magic City and they saying that shit, nigga, that was the phrase that pays, man. I'm like, so he's talking, then out of nowhere, he said, man, I got 99 problems, the bitch ain't one though. I said, what the fuck did you just say? And he said it. I said, that's a song. So I made the song. You know, I got a hoe from the East, I got a hoe from the West, I got a hoe from Alabama with a pussy in the chest. So I'm saying, so I make the record and then Marquise did a verse.
Right.
Done. It was on Home Invasion. Those Ice-T fans know it. The legend goes, Chris Rock was in the studio with Rick Rubin and they had Jay coming in and they brought that song up to be remade. The song was remade. They paid publishing with I had a deal with I think Universal. Publishing paid, point, seen money gone. That was it. That's how it happened. So I'm at the Grammys. Jay-Z walks up to me. He's like, Ice, you know I love you, man. I love you. Because I met Jay way back when Big Daddy Kane brought him through back in the day when he was with Jazzo.
Right.
So I got love for Jay-Z. So Jay's like, they say you mad. I'm like, dude, I'm not mad. This is the press. They pushing this shit like that. It's like, and so I was talking to him and I was like, well, Jay, you did the record, but at the end of the record, you could have said, Ice, like.
Right.
Don't be like a boom, my nigga, like, yeah. But, we laughed it off and stuff. But, it's what it is. It's hip hop. Look, I just told you who I was influenced by.
Yep.
Right.
But just think about that. Like everybody don't automatically do what you do in that way.
Yeah, but it's all
yeah.
It's out in the open now. I think also on that record he used one of Bun B's lyrics too, from UGK. So, it's a technique, it's a style, it's something. It's Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a super rapper, like shit.
Right.
It ain't like he can't write a rhyme if he wants to. He just feels like throwing some other flavor in there. I love Jay-Z.
No, I mean that's the spirit of hip hop. Like you got to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and build something new to it. Is there anything that you have yet to accomplish that you want to?
That's interesting. That's a really good question.
I mean, you've done everything, even fatherhood.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've done fatherhood, but
Muhammad Ali said when a man has a child in the second half of life after 50, it hits a reset button on his life. And I've gotten healthy. I have a reason to live. She's a whole new. You're right, Quest. It's a brand new life for me. I gotta live forever. I decided I'm not gonna die. I checked out my schedule. I'm booked till 100. So, and I ain't see no funerals on there. So I'll be around here. I got some shit to do. But
man.
Cheerios.
Yes. Yes.
Cheerio, all the commercials, because car shields cars go far. And Ice-T said
I was watching Shaq.
It's official.
I was watching Shaq and he said he had never spent money from the NBA. All endorsements. Yeah. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I need some fucking endorsements, So I called my manager. I said, I need a commercial agent. They won't fuck with you. You the cop killer. It's corporate America. I was like, yo, man, fuck that. Like, see if somebody will fuck with me. And the first commercial I got was the Geico, the Ice-T, read the sign.
Right.
That was good too.
And everybody braced for impact. Like there was going to be an outcry. But see, this is what's happened. The guards have changed.
Exactly.
The people that are in charge now are like 48-year-old CEOs. That's how we were able to do the Super Bowl. The people that were so scared of Eminem and them are gone now, and our fans are in charge.
But Ice, you don't want to give some of that to like Sergeant Tutuola? Because Tutuola has changed a lot of that too.
Whatever has done it, I just think it's just that the people that hated us are gone. And
that's true too.
And the new people love us. They love Snoop Dogg. They grew up with us, so there's no fear of us. Right now, we could put a cereal out with Ozzy Osbourne, a bat cereal, and the parents would think it's funny. The kids wouldn't get it.
That's true.
So I start getting these commercials. I get that. Tide calls me. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like,
Ice
what?
wash, ice cold wash.
Yeah, but I it's got to fit. So I'm
Yes.
like, what do I got to do with that? They said washing in ice, cold. I'm like, cool, okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin's in it. I'm in.
Right.
I'm like, Stone Cold, I'm in. Right.
But then you get your homie in the Car Shield commercial, like out in California. It seems like so cool that like the homie is just like, I just happened to be watching the commercial. My homie Ice-T was doing it. Like, is that real?
That's Mr. Biggs. Mr.
Yes.
Biggs, Soul Sonic Force. He's from New York.
Yes.
That's one of the OGs of hip hop.
Yes.
And see, Car Shield, the agent calls me. They say they know you got a lot of cars. It's a warranty company. It's basically this. You know, would you do it? I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, cool, I'll do it. And I said they put insurance on some of my other cars. Like they'll fuck with like Mercedes Benz, Range Rover. They fuck with that. So I got Car Shield and I done. Yeah, Biggs called me up and says, yo, man, I got Car Shield because I seen you on TV and the transmission went out, man. They fixed that shit. It was
official. It's official.
I was like, hold that thought. I called them. I said, I got a real testimonial from one of my homies. Y'all got him out. They said, we'll put him in a commercial. So they put him in a commercial, paid him, and gave him lifetime Car Shield.
That's crazy.
I love it.
And Cheerios was just, I'm like, how do I fucking feel with Cheerios? You're older. You're in great shape. You're still touring. Cheerios is for hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Want to be, and the thought of a nigga like me on a Cheerios box, like some of this shit, honestly, Quest, all this thing I'm going through right now in my life is beyond my wildest dreams. Getting a star? Like, really? All the robberies and shit I did up in Hollywood, like, how many times I've been laid flat on them damn stars? Like, this shit is crazy, man. But you know what it is? I'll tell you it is. It's inspirational because you can make a change in your life, and America loves a comeback. They love a comeback. If you could have been on drugs, you could have been fucked up. But as long as you honestly got your life straight, they will root for you. They'll root for you. But don't fuck up again. Because they guard your ass like trash because they roll for you the second time. If you up. So I'm on my best behavior.
Hey, wait, Amir, before you go, can I just ask one Tutuola question at least? Like, can I just?
I'm in my house. You got plenty of time. I'm just chilling.
Okay, because some of us have like we are faithful and we have watched your evolution. And congratulations on being sergeant. And also condolences, my brother, on losing your friend Richard Belzer.
Yeah,
condolences. Belzer. Like we watched y'all together, and even behind the scenes, we watched y'all friendship. So,
wait a minute.
What? So
it just hit me. I think you're weren't you responsible for? I put it out there that I wanted to be a dead body on the show.
Right, you were on SVU.
One of y'all made it happen.
I did.
Thank you. I forgot, y'all. I'm a dead body on Law and Order.
No, we saw it.
Thank you.
So okay. So my question is. Most challenging storyline on SVU for Tutuola for Ice-T.
Let me say something to Quest. What happened?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The request came in from Quest, and it got on the grid up there, and then the line. Of course, I'm the black guy, so they go. Questlove wants to be on the show. What's he like? That's how they always ask. Like they want to bring someone on the show, but they don't want it to be prima donna. He's extra. He's
right.
Okay.
I say he's a great person. I mean, yo, if you got a chance to put Quest on the show, yo, wow. So I co-sign you because they don't know. They bring a nigga up there, nigga might wild out and want to.
Right.
Snoop came up there and smoked the whole place out.
Yeah, that's a rule. You just got to know. So, all right. So back to my fan out question though. Was there most challenging storyline? I appreciate. I just want to say how Tutuola has became an amazing grandfather to his gay sons, husbands, and the children and whatnot. But what has been a challenging storyline for you in this journey?
Anything that does with children bothers me. I mean, I got a problem with pedophilia and all that old weirdo shit. I don't rock with that. I don't think street cats fuck with that. That's just real. You're not gonna do well in prison with that. You know what the definition of pedophilia is? It means you're into things that are prepubescent.
Mm-hmm.
That's nasty.
Mhm.
That's nasty. So anytime we're dealing with that kind of shit, I personally got an issue with that shit. That's nasty to me. And you know, I got on that show and the storylines are so crazy and so dark and so weird, but they're real shit. It's real stuff.
Do you get a say in like the direction that your character goes?
Not really. I mean, I've learned to act Quest, so I don't really care where my character goes as long as he doesn't die. You know, because
Have you had close calls where it's like, okay, we got to talk to you or go to dinner? Like, how do you know if your character is getting off or not?
Shot. You get shot. I mean, you get shot in the script and you see the shot, then you go like this. Oh shit. Okay, I'm breathing on pace. You know, shit, I survived that. You know, but nah, there's a producer or Law and Order we call the Grim Reaper. If he takes you out to dinner, it's a wrap.
So when you get taken to dinner, you already know.
Yeah.
See, I'm gangster with them. You know, I signed up with Dick Wolf, and I'm like his ride or die. I've been on 5 shows with Dick Wolf.
Right.
So he understands. And when I told them on some real shit, I said, if y'all gonna get rid of me, give me 6-month advance so I could book a tour or something. Just don't do me. Don't just do me. That I deserve that. And now being the longest running actor in television, they owe me that. You know?
Yes.
You know, so I'm like, I'm good with them. I told Dick Wolf straight up. I told him, I said, I'm on the show till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? I'm there. I don't have no plans in leaving. And you know, all things come to an end. We're getting ready to start the 25th season. And at some point it'll be over. And then I'm just gonna go out and read for all Samuel Jackson's parts.
Wait, is it really going to be over? I think that show is basically built to last as long as it.
Well, as long as you and Mariska, to be honest, that's what I was wondering. I was like, you and Mariska, I feel like as long as y'all are there, there's something. And is there at least an outside of the show, a relationship between you and Mariska as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told Mariska point blank, I say, in my life, I have 3 women. I have my 2 daughters and my wife, but I've made more money with you, Mariska. So you got to understand where you stand in my life. Me and Mariska, 25 years, that's longer than you went to high school, college. Who do you know that you like Quest has been with Jimmy every day. When you start having those relationships where you're with somebody every day for years and years and years and years.
Well, that's me and Tariq. Like, I think I've had a longer, consistent, everyday relationship with Tariq than my parent, like my family, anyone.
You've seen him more than all of them. Yeah. That's why I said, and I thought about this, Ice-T. I was like, what does it Ice-T feel like to know that like he's been a cop longer than he's been an MC? I mean, well, you always gonna be an MC, but longer than you've been making records. I'll put it that way.
Well, the thing of it is, I've been acting like a cop. I'm not no motherfucking cop.
I know that's right. You better tell me.
I've been acting like a cop, but you know, the thing of it is that if you hire a street cat to play a cop, you get more of an official cop because the cops are really thugs.
Right.
You know, so the way they handle themselves, if you get a square, he acts like a cop, he acts like a rookie cop. But as the cops get older, they pick up the lingo. If you ever dealt with a DEA, you'll swear to God you're talking to drug dealers. If you ever talk to a mob cop, you'll swear to God you're talking to somebody in the mob. They pick up the lingo. So Dick Wolf was like, if I cast Ice as a cop, you get a cop with an interesting dynamic.
Yes.
So when I'm interrogating somebody, you, the viewer, feel like Ice is about to smack the shit out this nigga. Right?
Yep. Yes.
Now, here's something for you. Acting like a cop and a gangster are the exact same acting. It's both of you got a gun. Both of you got an attitude, and both of you say, if I don't get what I want, there will be a consequence. So it's an energy that is gangster, but you just have a badge, same shit. So a lot of times when I'm acting, I'm not thinking like a cop. I'm just like, yo, motherfucker, you finna do what I want you to do. I'm a fucking fuck you up.
Yeah.
I love watching it. I just love watching you. I really do. I really do. I think for your fans that we just love the evolution, even where you are in the police force now.
The beauty of it is for me and LL is that our fans have matured with us. So you probably were with us when we were rapping, and now you're not necessarily listening to hip hop like that anymore, but you've grown up and your mothers and this, that, and the third. But we're still the people you grew up with.
Yeah.
So our fan base has matured with us. So that's
but it's also seeing y'all as whole men too, like seeing you show feelings, seeing you all the things. It's just beautiful to watch, even if you are acting. But I know that when you went on in your house, some of that stuff goes home too.
Some of it.
Yeah. Speaking of home and like with your marriage, man, how did you make that transition from being in the streets to going straight to
being domestic?
Yeah.
The thing of it is that they say when a woman meets the right man. When a woman meets the right man, it's the right time. When a man hits the right time, he'll be ready for the right woman.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true.
So men, we're kind of like no good up to 35 years old because we have to go through the same thing they went through. See, women, they mature earlier because at 17, if a girl's hot, she's in the club. She's living the life we can't live.
Yeah, she in the car with the 40-year-old nigga.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Think about it. I didn't get in the Benz until I bought one. So they mature much faster because life opens for them earlier. When you see all these girls in bikinis laid out on the yacht, them bitches don't own that yacht. They're on there because they're cute. We can't get on the yacht unless
we own it.
We buy it. Yeah.
Right. So life happens for them. But here's the problem. When y'all are slowing down, we're just taking off.
Yeah.
At 27, when the woman sees 30 and she's like, I need to slow down and figure it out, the guy's just getting his bag. And so it's a stagger with us. So
because you can still make them babies at 50, Ice-T. Yes, it's a whole physicality thing.
I can make a baby through a brick wall. Don't worry about that. So what happens is I had a girlfriend, my Darlene, who was on my covers. Me and her were like together for 15 years, but I never got married because I already knew what kind of nigga I was, still in, moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was just becoming famous. Rule 1, don't marry nobody that's just getting at the beginning of fame.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's an onslaught of pussy, and you just have to weather that shit. And you think, well, anyway. So what happens is when I met Coco, I was 42 years old. And I was done. I've been to the theme park, I've been to everything, I've done this, and now I was ready. And I needed to find somebody. And since she had matured earlier, she had been running when she was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So when I met her, she was kind of done. And we clicked, and in the words of Pimpin' Ken, one down bitch is worth 10 funky hoes, you know what I'm saying? So, at some point I chose and fortunately it stuck like glue. We've been married for 22 years.
That's beautiful.
It was just the right chick, She liked me.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I met her, I had on a red snakeskin suit.
Oh.
I was on some player shit and a video. She's like, "Ooh, that's fly."
Wait, where Coco from? Where's she from? What part of
California?
Okay, she could do that. Okay,
but she liked this. I'm too much for most girls. They like, nigga, every word is out of your word mouth is pimp and hoe and bitches and that. She's like, ooh, talk that shit. So she liked me. So I finally found a woman that really accepted me. Right. And I liked her. She was always, she's out there, borderline exhibitionist. She likes showing herself. She's fun. And I dig it. She ain't right for everybody. So a lot of times people will come to me and go, well, give me some advice. I said, I can tell you how to be married to my wife. I can't tell you how to be married to your wife. Yeah. I know what it takes to make her happy, but I don't know what you might be dealing with. So, but we always say men settle where they find peace. And my wife does not argue. She doesn't raise her voice. She's very peaceful. She's very nice and sweet, and she has me happy, has me wanting to stay in house and play video games, and she's enough for me. And I always ask
you play what games you on? What you be on?
I play regular shit.
He's world famous.
Call of Duty and
Oh, you Call of Duty. Okay.
Yeah, first person shooters.
Oh, okay, you the shooters. Okay, gotcha.
But one thing about relationships, don't brag on them because you'll jinx yourself.
Oh God, you better preach this word. Come on, Ice, come on.
You will. I'm in a good place, but I mean, you ever notice like when you watch Basketball Wives, none of them are really the wives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the wives aren't doing no fucking interviews. The wives are happy. They're in the mansion. They're doing great. They don't want to talk.
They're like
the ex-wives running their motherfucking mouths. But go to somebody's wife in life. Don't talk. I don't want to talk about it. So I'll keep it quiet. Everything's good on the Ice-T front.
I love it.
That's what's up, man. Dog,
we did it.
We did it. It took the longest, what?
I didn't know how we were. I thought we were going to Jimmy Jam this shit because it's Ice-T. I didn't know how long this. I was just like, I hope that he just rides with us. I don't know.
No, I thank you for this, man. Like we appreciate you and love you so much, man. All your pearls of wisdom. Wait, time out. Steve, do you remember our 4th day at Fallon? I forget which writer ran in to ask me. I forget the writer, but she ran and says, Amir, do you know who Ice-T is? And I was like, yeah, I know Ice-T. And they wanted me to broker. Like, I guess one of the Fallon writers had
maybe Morgan Murphy.
Maybe I forget who it was, but like she had snarked a comment on Twitter, and they wanted us to translate the roots. Like, what does this mean? Like, should I run out of state or should I? I was like, no, I forget what your response was, but they were obviously not used to playing the dozens or any of that sort of thing. And
I probably said, like, eat a dick, bitch. It's Twitter, though. It's Twitter. It's like, yo, whatever. I was coming
my 4th day at Fallon, literally, like, I just remember having to walk in the writer's room and calm this person down. Like, okay,
so eat a dick, bitch means
right, exactly.
That's not suck a dick. It means eat a dick. All right. So, you know what, man? People, they don't know how to really respond to certain people. They don't know what's up. They don't. People come over my house. They expect to see people hanging off meat hooks and shit.
What the fuck? I don't understand.
Because they pick up a persona from you. They might just listen to my records. They might listen to Body Count. They don't know who I am really.
You somebody daddy. Like, you a whole, like, a man of a certain age. You a man. I'm sorry. I mean,
you know me better than some. They'll take a small thing and pick it up and turn that into my whole persona. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. But, let me do my shameless plug.
Please.
Check on the Daily Game. The Daily Game was something that I would do on Twitter because when I first got on Twitter, I realized it was mob rules. And I said, you have to get a crew. You got to get people to fuck with you. So I needed something to make you go back to my page because Twitter is nothing but a chat room. It's a chat room. It's going right now. And people are talking back and forth. And in this multi-million person chat room, if you follow Quest, that means I'm interested in what he's saying versus everybody else. But if you have a timeline with 1,000 people, his tweet just it shoots. So the only way you really can make Twitter work is if I go to your page. Like, I'm gonna go see what Quest said today. So I came up with this thing called the Daily Game. And it's just jewels I got from players. And iHeartRadio dug them and said, hey, why don't we turn this into a podcast? So the podcast is Ice-T's Daily Game. It's on Spotify. And every day I drop a jewel and then I break it down, like what the lady wanted Quest to do. Mm-hmm. So, shit like if it feels like you're going in circles, it's probably because you're cutting corners. You understand me?
Ooh.
So now, so these are little tidbits I got from different players and different people, and I quote Aristotle, Socrates,
Yes.
all kinds of different people. Tyler Perry. I quoted Jimmy. So anytime somebody says something, I'm like, we call it a jewel. Hold on
I
to
love
that.
that. I love that.
So tune into the Daily Game. You can tune in once a week and hear like 5 of them. And I did a year's worth. I recorded 250 of them.
Yo, before we go, man, you got to talk about Chappelle Show, Haters Ball. Come on. Man.
You get a call from Dave Chappelle. Certain niggas call you, you show up. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Quest call me, I'm going to show up. Certain people got that. So Dave Chappelle is one of them cats, right? So you get the call. Dave wants you to be in a skit. Hell yeah, I'm in a skit. So they say it's the player haters ball. This wears something you'd wear to the players ball. Oh, the red snakeskin suit I had.
It's in that.
Same one I had on when I knocked Coco. Woo! That was a winter chicken dinner. That was the one. So I threw that on, blow, got my hair, and then they did my hair on the set. They said, "Don't do your hair. We're gonna curl your hair on the set." Mm-hmm. And remember they had me sitting down there talking shit when they were doing my hair.
Right.
And they just threw the script at me and they said, "You hosting?" I'm like, "I'm hosting," and they just said, just get up there, and they had a few things to say. And, I invented that hate, because when you go to the real players ball, when they get the awards, they say pimp, 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 pimp.
Oh,
pimp,
okay.
Right.
Pimp, 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 hooray, so that's what they do. So I just turned it into hate. That was ad lib. And it was legendary. And recently we did it where we were Game of Thrones. And we showed back up, and we did the player haters showed up on the Game of Thrones skit. Me, Ashy Larry, and I was what would they call me?
You have Patrice O'Neal. He was in that skit. Rest in peace. Did y'all kind of go back and forth more than what was on the air?
It was wild. Nah, niggas was talking crazy the whole skit. Like, yeah, it was going back and forth, and those are comedians, so they bagging, and when out of nowhere they talking shit about me. I said, next person talking shit.
I'm talking is getting shot.
Please believe that. So we were just going back and forth. My favorite one is I got to go home and put some more milk in Buck Nasty's
mama's dish. Where's underwear with dick holes in them?
Oh yeah, that was yeah. Looked like he got shark teeth.
They don't like to shine, but the nigga looks shinier than me. That's one of my favorite sketches, bro. It
was one where you finally got to see cats just talk shit the way we do, and it was fun. And rest in peace, Patrice, Charlie. It's cold, man. Those cats ain't with us, and it's legendary. Yeah. But Dave Chappelle is that guy. Like I said, I was light-skinned Larry Targaryen in the last skit. Have you seen that one?
I forgot what I see. I saw you do one, but I forgot in what context I saw it in. I don't know.
After we get off, go to YouTube and put player haters, SNL.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
SNL.
Yeah. Okay, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah,
SNL
I saw it.
That shit was wild.
Yeah. I saw it.
Anyway, man, I just been fortunate, and I'm as big a fan as anybody else. To be in this business, you got to be a fan too. You it ain't all about you. So I'm in awe of certain cats, and I don't have a problem letting them know that. So I'm just here for the ride, man. Here's a jewel. You ready?
Yep.
All right. You don't guide life, you ride life.
Ice-T, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't guide life, you ride life. There's no way any of us would ever imagine we would be where we are right now today doing what we do. So you just got to take the opportunities that they come and take it for that ride. And, who the fuck thought I'd be on television or on a Questlove podcast? And, all this stuff is just a part of the ride, man. And who knows what'll happen next year, man. You know? So we just gonna keep riding this shit.
Well,
Who is afraid of this? I just want to give you all the hugs.
Well,
like,
See?
thank you, brother.
You a beautiful woman. You recognize, you know, as funny as Cole, man, my boy Rich was like, yo, Ice, when you met Coco, all you was really looking for was a bitch that understand what the fuck you was saying. That's it. That understood what she's saying, man. And you know, she does. And God bless
much
you.
respect to her. Much respect to her for this.
And
Yes.
God bless you and everybody on the podcast, man. We got
Thank you, man.
Man, the hate is so rabid right now. You have to embrace the love. You gotta embrace it because it's there. So when someone shows you love, man, hold on to that.
Nah, straight up. Nah, we love you, bro. Straight up. You're a legend in this shit, man. Straight up.
Thank you.
For
So
real.
on behalf of Unpaid Bill, Fontigolo, Sugar Steve, and Lightyear, this Questlove, the almighty, the legendary Ice-T on Questlove Supreme. We thank you very much for doing this, and we will see you guys next go round. Thank
Peace, everybody. Love.
Peace.
Thank you, brother.